And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Philly BroCast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Ryan. What's up, bro?
What up, bro? What's going
How's
on,
it going?
man? How are you?
Hot right now. Really hot. But otherwise, pretty good.
Well, that's good. We have lots to talk about tonight. We are going to start first, of course, with the NFL Draft. We are quite literally just under 48 hours to go until good old Roger Goodell comes walking out on that stage and does his little spiel, gets booed, and starts that clock with the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 1. And we've obviously talked about it for the longest time, whether it be actually on this show or just in real life. Not that this isn't real life, but yeah, it's. I'm glad that it's finally here. It's coming. It's coming to an end. The talk and all that, and now it's time to, put all that into action and see who the Birds actually go out and draft and add to the talent pool of the team.
Yeah, to be honest, there's quite a few things that I look forward to, and one of them being that Roger Goodell gets booed. I always continue to hope that the Stone Cold Steve Austin, what in between every pause, continues to happen. I think that's timeless and should continue forever. The one of the things, and I would like to get your opinion on this, is I love talking about the draft, especially coming up to it and getting close. But as the week of, do you get a little bit tired of talking about it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely at the point where we've
enough is enough.
Yeah, we've heard all we're gonna hear. We've seen mock drafts after mock draft after mock draft. We hear rumors, we hear this, that, and the other. You always have to take everything with a grain of salt. You never know what somebody's putting out there as far as misinformation, and Howie, we all know, loves to do that. So, yeah, it's we've talked about it enough. We've expressed our viewpoints. We've expressed who we want, who we think the Birds should go out and get, and yeah, again, this is basically going to be the final show on the Philly Sports Alliance before the actual draft. So, I'll be honest. I will be a little relieved and just more excited to get the draft going itself.
Yeah. Just wanted to say quickly, great job, you and Eric. Appreciate you guys doing that. I think everybody really does. You guys have great opinions, great knowledge. You've been fans forever. So it's just it's an amazing opportunity for you guys to just not only talk about it, but to inform others and to give some really good insight on the draft. So, congrats on that. Sorry I couldn't make it.
Well, good. You weren't feeling all that well. We definitely missed you on Saturday Night Live at the Berwyn Tavern for the roundtable number 2. But we threw a few drinks up in your honor, and it was a fun time as always doing live shows out in the public. Yeah.
Sad I couldn't make it, but I know you guys killed it. How many people did you have out? You had a good crowd this time as well?
Yeah, it was a little bit less than last time, but it was a good crowd. In fact, our good buddy of the show, Mike Miller, who has been following us, watching our shows for the last couple of years. Actually came out with his buddy Mike, and they sat and watched the whole thing. We got to chat afterward, a little bit before, a little bit afterwards. So again, it was nice to kind of see somebody that I know on social media, but never met in real life. So I always relish that that opportunity. So yeah, it was nice for sure. And Mike had randomly stumbled upon our show, Eric and I's show. While he was in China. He's a professional magician. He was touring in China, and Facebook's actually legal over there, so he kind of had to go around back channels and just found our show, and he's been watching ever since, and we really appreciate him and people like him who for whatever reason has stumbled upon one of our shows, whether it be through Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, whatever, or just word of mouth. We always do appreciate that. Oh, speaking of a blast from the past, Sean, what's going on, buddy? Sean, of course, is the host of the Bald Eagle podcast. He's taking a little break, as we've been known to do around here every once in a while. You got to recharge the battery. So I'm excited for him. He's going to start up the show again after the draft. So we're excited to kind of get his insight on things after this weekend. So, good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. Great show. Good. Another, guy with great insight.
Quality show.
Yeah.
And in fact, I tell anybody who's wants to learn a little bit more about the ins and outs of the game of football, to watch one of his shows after an Eagles game. He will literally go play by play, drive by drive, and break things down. It's absolutely fantastic. You really, I certainly can say that I have learned things over his episodes for sure. And I like to think I know a little bit. So if if you're even even just an average or novice fan, definitely check out the Bald Eagle podcast. Of course, all over our YouTube, our Facebook, and of course wherever you can get your podcasts. So anyway, draft. Let's talk a little bit about it. I know we talked about it last week. But we didn't really dive into it too much because, again, we were kind of in the throes of Sixers playoffs, and we'll get to that. But, with everything that's been said so far and all the news and information that comes out, and we all know what we need. We need D-backs, we need linebackers, we need, edge, we need interior defensive line, we need a O-line depth, we need a wide receiver. We could use a backup tight end. We might need another running back. Like, blah, 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 blah. After all of that, after Thursday night, what are you hoping is the outcome after Thursday night? In your ideal situation, what positions are we hitting that you want them to hit?
That I want them to hit? I would say I would agree with you in that the necessary position and one of the big things is getting a linebacker. And I think that it's huge. And I honestly do believe that the Eagles will shock the world and their fan base and actually take a linebacker in the first round. I truly believe that.
Right, Ryan, I love it. You're putting it out in the world. We're manifesting it. If we say it enough times, maybe it'll actually happen. The Eagles will draft a first-round linebacker. And don't get me wrong, I have grown to really love Devin Lloyd out of Utah. And I feel like he will absolutely be there at 15, possibly there at 18. And yeah, it would absolutely be a home run for me. Just that pick alone. And just because we haven't had that caliber of a player in that position. I mean, honestly, when was the last time we really had a linebacker that you could be like, man, this guy is a game changer. This guy is flying around. I mean, seriously, when was the last time?
Jeremiah Trotter.
Yeah, basically.
That's pretty much it.
You had brief moments here and there with, like somebody like a Jordan Hicks who showed you flashes, or Bradham, would show flashes. But again, it was inconsistent, and it wasn't, there wasn't that star quality. And I think Lloyd could easily come in here and be that star linebacker. And I have always said that a defense, when you look at the great defenses over the history of the game, and yes, I get it, era to era, decade to decade, even sometimes year to year, the importance of certain positions will go up and down. Linebacker certainly seems to be trending on the downward spine right now. But think about all the great linebackers on the great defenses over the years.
Yeah, I mean, every
single one of them had at least that impactful linebacker that you could be like, damn, like that's a dude.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher, Singletary.
And just like in the most recent, and I would say arguably the most impactful defense to help a team win a Super Bowl was for the Seahawks. And they had a great linebacker and a great secondary.
Yeah.
So that being said, I would be ecstatic if we could pick up either a safety or corner in the first round as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just posted on Twitter. What's your realistic ideal situation of who we get in the first round? And I personally said Kyle Hamilton and Devin Lloyd. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Kyle Hamilton wouldn't fall a little bit. And not saying that he would fall all the way to 15, but the Eagles certainly are one to move up and down as they need to. And say they move up to 10 if he slips that far. I could easily see a scenario where they trade number 83 and number 15 and maybe a 6th rounder or something else to sweeten the pot a bit to move up to 10 and select Kyle Hamilton.
Or maybe throw in Jalen Reagor or somebody like that.
Or Dillard or whoever, we're throwing out in the trash heap. Exactly. And then sit at 18 and Lloyd sits there and is the selection at 18.
Yeah.
That right there would be not only dream scenario, but that changes your defense in such a way. Because think about what we have at safety. right now we have Anthony Harris, who again was here for last year, did okay,
Serviceable.
not a star. We lost McLeod, who was great while he was here, but let's be honest, he was getting older and injured, and it was time
Injured
for
quite a bit.
Quite a bit, right? And then you have Marcus Epps, who is a great depth piece, but should not be a starting safety in this league. Certainly, he hasn't shown it anyway. You bring in somebody like Hamilton with Harris as your starter. You have Slay. If you could bring in another corner, even if you get somebody of the skill level of a Steven Nelson, or against, a rookie in the second or third round or something like that.
Even someone like a Daxton Hill out of Michigan.
Sure. Yeah.
Not a bad look.
Selection, right. So you could transform your defensive backfield in so many ways. And then you transform your linebacker room with just one guy. Considering you have Reddick, who, again, is going to kind of split between, edge and linebacker and whatnot. Your defense is just instantly better than last year, without a doubt on paper. Obviously, you have to, go play the games, but what was once a weak position and a side of the ball becomes your strength. The defense goes from below average to, potentially top 10.
Yeah.
Just in those moves. And I think it's a no-brainer that if those guys are there and those guys are able to be gotten, whether, again, it is Hamilton or somebody like Sauce if he, starts to slip, or Stingley, or even if you stay and you take somebody like McDuffie or Booth, that's important for this defense to transform and continue to grow. And if you get those two positions handled, I would be so ecstatic. Those would be instant jersey purchases. Instant.
Here's a question for you. Somebody like Sauce Gardner with his big body, good speed, somebody that we wouldn't have traditionally gone after or even had on our team.
Yeah.
What is he, 6'3"? Just, outstanding coverage. All of the things that you're looking for. Do you make the move to try and move as far up as you can to get him to make that big of an impact, but then again affect your draft this year with later picks?
It's tough. It depends on how far you think you have to go. He is 6'2", by the way.
6'2". Okay, it was off by an inch.
Yeah. It's a game of inches, as Al Pacino would say. Again, if you're talking, you're moving up to like 6 with Carolina to get him, I'm definitely okay with that. And I think you could again kind of utilize a third pick and maybe one of your future third picks, something like that, where you're not necessarily giving up a whole lot of draft capital. I would absolutely do it, because I think Gardner and Hamilton, and to a slightly lesser degree, Stingley are going to be impactful players, and they are going to, take what is a big perceived weakness and make it into a strength. And you're also getting somebody who's young, who's going to be on your team for 5 years, controllable for 5 years, and not making all that much money. And you can kind of then help rebuild some of the other pieces if you have somebody in there, a stud, a cornerstone for the next 5 years at bare minimum. It's an absolute no-brainer that, one of those three D-backs, if the Eagles can go up and get them or have them fall or whatever you want to say, if they can be an Eagle at the end of Thursday, it's an absolute win. Just on that one pick alone.
Yeah. So to your original question, you said, what am I hoping that we step away from this with in the first round? And I'm going to have to say that my answer of what I want to have happen is going to be linebacker, cornerback, linebacker, safety. What I think's going to happen
that's a
is
big difference.
is cornerback, safety, and a wideout.
Yeah, honestly, I am preparing myself mentally for the no linebacker pick. I mean, let's be honest. A betting man would certainly put heavy money on them not selecting one.
Yeah.
I think wide receiver or D line is the answer of what other position they would go after. As much as D line isn't necessarily an immediate need, it's still very, very important because the way Howie builds the team, they're always thinking about next year, 2 years. And you have somebody like Brandon Graham. You have somebody like Fletcher Cox. But let's be honest, in 2 years' time, both of them may not even be on this team. Hell, maybe even next year, they both might not be on this team.
I mean, we can face a reality come next year that we're going to have Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey.
Maybe even Lane Johnson.
And then, depending on somebody who's, in their twilight, if you will, that might have gotten hurt during the year. It's like, I'm just hanging it up. You might be looking at 4 to 6 big name players on this team gone.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think in that 3 to 4 range just next year is very likely. Especially every year we're worrying about Jason Kelsey and whether or not he's going to retire, which personally is really freaking annoying. But I get it.
I mean, at least he doesn't make you hang on that long.
No, that's true. At least he's not.
And when he does say that he's coming back, he does it in an awesome way.
He really does. Yeah, the fact
going
that
to Wildwood and bartending, or just shotgunning a beer.
Exactly. Yeah, he was pumping a keg that he got from his head coach. It was just like, I love how he drinks it too. He always carries it from this side and then just goes.
Yeah, apparently that's how offensive and defensive linemen chug beers. I was watching that video of Bakhtari from Green Bay chug at the Bucs game, and he just grabs it like this and it's just gone.
All right, well,
gone.
I think as official bros, I think that's how we should do it from now on.
I mean, it does show off the bicep when you kind of bring it up.
Yes,
so smooth.
It goes down smooth every time.
Yeah, but all right.
Yeah, no,
I will in turn ask you that question, even though I know you went over this a lot on Saturday night, and you and Eric had great conversations.
You brought it up in a fantastic way. What do I think they're going to do, and what do I want them to do? Because that is 100% two different answers. I've already told you what I want them to do. What I think they will do is go after somebody like Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, defensive line, the interior defensive line, and a wide receiver. And I think Jamison Williams is most likely the name. You've been hearing about his name a lot. They're saying the Eagles are honed in on them. I kind of take that with a grain of salt as more of, hey, listen, I'm just setting, and I get why Howie does this. Howie's been on the phone for the last couple days, I'm sure, and will be up until the draft, talking to every single team pretty much in the NFL of hey, what's your thoughts on trading up? What's your thoughts on trading back? Blah, 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 blah. What might that look like? Or even actually set things up and say, hey, listen, if, if certain scenarios happen, would you be okay with doing this trade? And probably setting that up and saying draft night, if it falls the way he wants it, calling up that team and being like, hey, listen, our board fell, exactly the way we wanted it. We still got a deal on this trade. All right, good, great, throw it in. So the simple fact of the matter is, I think that information gets put out there as more of a, hey, I'm letting it be known that we'll take them at 15, but if there's somebody else that wants them, please, by all means, give me a call, and we'll work something out.
Yeah. What do you think about a wideout? And I'm sorry that I'm asking this, but I didn't really get to ask it on Saturday. But what do you think about somebody like Garrett Wilson from Ohio State?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson to me is my second favorite wideout in this draft class. I personally think he'll probably go top 8, if not top 10. Well, actually, probably top 8 because I don't see Seattle or the Jets grabbing him. But you never know. But yeah, I think he's probably most likely the first wide receiver off the board. I do not see him slipping to us unless somebody happens to like Drake London a little better.
I've seen some mock drafts that have him falling.
I have to. I just think it's less likely, but I would be more than okay with that. When it gets to somebody like Drake London, or is it Olave? I'm unsure.
I think it's Olave.
Olave? Okay, well, I'll just trust you on that one. And I'm pretty sure that's how I've been saying it, so I might as well keep going.
Yeah.
When it comes to London and Olave, that's when I kind of get, I don't know if I like that at 15 or 18. But I'll tell you, though, if we trade back into like the mid-20s and Treylon Burks is there, I'm all for that. I am all for that. So it's almost like I have Williams, Garrett, and then Burks is kind of my top 3. Now, granted, again, if we trade back and happen to pick up London or Olave, all right, yeah, I'll be okay with it and hope to God that they made the right decision. But I wouldn't be as immediately excited as I would be for those 3 that I just mentioned. Whereas, I'd be a little bit more hesitant on some of the other 2. So, but that also being said, there are some really good second-round wide receivers that I like.
Yeah,
that may even pop into the first. You have Sky Moore, you have Christian Watson, you have Dotson from Penn State.
That's the dude.
Yeah, I mean you have a couple of guys that may even trickle to the third. Mechie, Alec Pierce. There are
Pickens, Moore.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Oh my God.
I'm going through my list.
How did I forget freaking Pickens? I actually really, really like him in the second round.
I mean,
would absolutely trade up to like the early 40s to go grab him because I have looked at enough of his tape, and I'm not saying I'm an expert.
A lot of people have because Georgia was.
Well, yes, but I'm saying after the fact. And just focusing on him, and honestly, that just the mindset, the attitude, just the ferocity that he plays with, like he doesn't take anybody's shit. He plays like a wild man.
6'3" with a 4.4 40.
Yeah, he's quick as hell. He's got amazing hands. He's got a great jump, and he's absolutely not going to take your shit.
He's the go up and get the ball at the highest point type of wide receiver, and that's another guy that we need on this team.
Yes, absolutely. And combine him with Smith, I think that would be a great pairing.
Awesome.
And yeah, I would be 100% for that in the second round. Real quick, I just want to welcome everybody in from the Painted Lines YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, as you always do. We do appreciate everybody, obviously, but specifically for the Painted Lines, we partnered up with them. We stream on their YouTube. They stream on our Facebook. It's been a really good partnership, and honestly, just meeting the guys and talking with them on the daily about this, that, and the other. It's really fantastic, and honestly, everybody that's commented in from the YouTube channel, been amazing to talk to. So. We appreciate everybody from the Painted Lines. Thank you so much, and glad that you are with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So so that's kind of our scenarios here. Let's talk a little bit more about the second round. Now, obviously, it all depends on what happens in the first round, but there are growing talks of going offensive line. in the second round. And there are a few guys there that, again, are kind of slated in that area, and I wouldn't necessarily mind. And considering, that we obviously have a need to replace, either Kelsey or Lane Johnson, or, again, do we need to go after more guards? Because, say Kelsey retires next year, is Sam Malo going to get kicked in the middle? Is Landon Dickerson going to get kicked in the middle? Either way, it looks like we're going to need some guard. So I wouldn't doubt that they go after a guard at some point in the mid rounds there. It's not sexy. It never is. But it certainly, again, goes with that philosophy of planning for the year or two out to replace, what you already have, and to continue to make what is one of your strengths to continue being a strength by constantly replacing when needed, before needed. So I could definitely see them going guard, going tackle at some point for sure. What are your thoughts about doing that early in the second round?
I mean, just some thoughts, with the guard tackle position. I mean, I've thought about, and you know how I love offensive line almost as much as you love linebackers, although I don't think anybody loves anything as much as you love linebackers.
That's very true. I would marry them if I could.
Yeah, I love Lamp.
I love Lamp.
But honestly, I could see even in the first round somebody like Zion Johnson getting taken.
Yeah, or Lindenbaum is another one.
That's Iowa State.
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of a center guard.
Yes.
There's also a plethora of tackles, that certainly could be had. And especially considering, LA Chargers are most likely going to be taking one of those tackles. Maybe we could, leverage that for something,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the options are there for us to go after somebody on the offensive line. And I truly and honestly believe that building it up, having that depth is the most important thing. I honestly, it's so tough with just the nature of the draft and what we do and how we talk. It's just like, it's up in the air, but I would really love to see something happen where, our third and fifth, we take some offensive line help.
Yeah, and they've been successful doing that in the mid rounds.
I just don't think second round. To your question, I don't think they're going to go O-line second round.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you there. I feel like there are much bigger needs. Again, depending on what you get in the first round, say you don't get a safety. Say you get a defensive lineman and a wide receiver. Well, you're going to need somebody in the defensive backfield. And there are plenty of safeties that could be had in the second. I mean, we've listed it a million times. The kid from Georgia, Seen. The kid from Penn State, Brisker. The kid from Baylor, Pittry.
I do like Brisker as well.
Yeah, I really do too. And honestly, I always love, adding a Penn Stater to the roster. It's just,
I guess it's not like I'm biased. It's more of I get to watch more Big Ten football than.
Yeah, it's just a nice story to bring a Penn Stater into the Eagles. That's all.
It's a nice story, yeah. I mean, that's great and all, but like personally, from my point of view, I'm watching more Big Ten football than I am any other conference. Sure. I get to watch these guys. I get to see them in especially for Penn State, who are such a mercurial team. Which there's your SAT word of the day.
Wow. I think we got to go now. we officially lost it. Oh, God, sorry.
So I'm just saying that, somebody like Brisker is just an excellent choice, but I'm not trying to be a homer, just literally watching a lot of Penn State football. Shout out to a bunch of people I work with and a bunch of my friends that went to Penn State.
Yeah, I know way too many Penn Staters, unfortunately.
There's no way too many. It's Happy Valley. It's called Happy Valley for a reason. We're not going to get into college football because that's a whole nother episode.
That's another show, yeah. But no, I truly feel like I know way too many Penn Staters.
It's a great school. What are you going to say?
It's not. Good, good partying up there as one is to do. There's nothing else to do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, never partied there. Never partied. I party.
You know who likes to party? Toronto Raptors fans.
My name's Rod. My name's Rod, and I like to party.
After beating the Sixers last night.
Wow. Are you really already going to try and transition to Sixers, man?
I'll tell you right now.
You gotta give me a heads up on that.
That's my gig. That's my thing that I bring is the segue. I bring the segue.
Well, listen,
if I were to drive up to some event, I would be on a segue.
I wish you'd get on your segue and get the hell out of here.
I'm just saying. We can talk another hour and a half about football and Penn State and whatever, but I want to give the people what they want. Talk about how you were technically wrong, but
no, I was technically right.
Could be right.
Let's be honest. Right now, I am on track to be right.
If you break it down to what you said in that episode, that was what? What'd you say? Lose twice in Toronto after winning twice at home, correct?
They won twice at home and they
lost once
All right,
in Toronto.
Yeah. All right, so I was off by
I was on pace to be right, but the Sixers couldn't hit anything. They got out-hustled. They got outmaneuvered. They got out-coached for sure.
For sure.
And any type of run that the Sixers went on, the Raptors answered.
Immediately.
Yeah.
It was awful.
It was awful. Just like you texting the entire time while we're trying to talk.
That's literally not what I'm doing.
I'm kidding.
You jump-started the segue, and now I got to push it out to the Sixers groups.
Oh. I jump-started the segue.
Yeah. So talk more about the Sixers while I do this.
You got it. All right. So one of the big things that I wanted to talk about was the lack of, initiative to focus on Maxey. Maxey has been, I think, over the course of the series, averaging 22.5, something like that, points.
Sure.
Has just been a game changer with his energy, production, everything.
Early in the series. Early in the series.
Averaging overall in the series.
Yeah, but he's waiting off the last couple games. He's waiting off the last couple games. Let's be honest. He hasn't been that impactful.
He had a bad
game yesterday.
That's because he didn't get the ball enough. That's what I'm trying to say. If you don't give one of your biggest producers the ball, how can he produce? That's the key.
You gotta go.
So you're looking at Tobias Harris and obviously Embiid. Embiid's going to be your producer every game. Even when he has a low game of 19 points, he's still producing. He's still impacting. He is the most important person on that floor. But I'm glad to see Tobias Harris do his thing. I'm glad to see him contribute. But you didn't get the ball in Maxey's hands in a beneficial situation.
The second quarter, you should have absolutely said, Maxey, take over, take the ball, run around, and do your thing. And what happened? The Raptors went on a 12-0 run and ended the game.
They went on a lot of runs.
They did, but
couldn't answer.
That one killed them.
We just couldn't answer.
That was the first one that killed them.
I don't think that technically killed them.
I think it broke them.
What I'm saying is there's many contributing factors. I mean, you have arguably the worst shooter on your team taking 5-6 shots almost in a row for, over a course of 4 or 5 minutes in Matisse Thybulle, that is terrible. That is what can kill you. That is just lost possessions because he's terrible.
Matisse in general killed you. He is effed up in the head right now.
Defensively,
he's so worried.
We all agree defensively. Offensively, the guy just needs to drive the basketball. Just drive. He's got hops. He can finish.
Regardless, he was terrible. I hope he never plays in this series again for many reasons.
That's a dumb thing to say. Because
why? Because if they win the next game, he won't. So that's kind of why I meant that. Double meaning.
All I'm saying is, you're probably going to miss him defensively next game. But
as you always will, but how many dumb turnovers did he have? How many dumb shots did he take that he
maybe I can say for sure at least one dumb turnover. But I mean, if you're counting him just taking a shot as a turnover, then I guess. Then it's a lot of dumb turnovers.
Listen. He had multiple wide open looks. And he either was too passive or he took the shot and clanked it. Kind of like Danny Green with his 2 wide open threes that would have absolutely changed the game around.
The air balls?
Yeah. So
it was tough.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't get anything timely as far as shots and hitting things. They were all over the place. They would go on a little run and then they'd back off. And anytime Joel sat, it was a disaster. And they looked like a different team than they did in the first 2 games. And they need to figure something out to get back on track, or they could make history and be the laughingstock. And Doc will never coach again.
I'll tell you right now, I think unless we win the championship, he's gone. Even if we somehow make the championship, which I'm not saying is going to happen.
I still think if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, Doc stays.
No way. No way. There's no possible way.
You want to make a bet?
Yes.
All right, what are we betting?
Well, you're the one that offered the bet, so you would have to.
How about a 12-pack of refreshing, smooth?
Man, you're the worst. Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
Hey, I'm trying to manifest it. Put it out into the atmosphere, and maybe they'll come back and say, "Listen, you love our stuff. We're gonna just give you free iced tea."
You among a million other people love their stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, what I'm really saying is that Doc Rivers, he's got to be gone. Like, has to be gone. It's not like a question of maybe.
I'm not disagreeing with you on whether he should. All I'm saying is that if he makes the Eastern Conference Finals, he is as good as staying.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Sorry, dude. You're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong.
So, regardless of that, I mean, just overall, you're looking for shots that aren't there. You're not doing you're not adhering to the formula that got you those game 1, 2, 3 wins, which was dribble drive, look for an open guy, dribble drive, try and finish in the lane. Make some plays in which is going to get a lot of these guys in foul trouble for Toronto. One of the big things was we were getting them in foul trouble, getting them to the free throw line, converting. It just wasn't happening last night, and they really just were on a mission to just make threes upon threes upon threes to get back, and that's not
a formula.
That's not how it's going to work.
No. They got out hustled. They got out rebound. Their bench absolutely killed us.
Even offensive rebounds that we should have had. Toronto snuck in, or I'm sorry, defensive rebounds we should have had.
They're
Toronto
offensive board, killing us on the offensive board. There's literally a dude named Precious that is making us look bad. Precious. Oh,
If
man.
you get a chance, you and all the people watching, look up Precious and his family and their names. That's not the craziest name in that family.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I 100% don't doubt that. But regardless, their bench is absolutely murdering us. And they are absolutely out hustling us. They are absolutely out rebounding us. And they're doing the little things because that's how you get back into a series. Do the little thing. Grind, hustle. And that's what they're doing. They're out physicaling us, but they're doing it in a way where they're not getting a crap ton of foul calls on them like they were the first two games.
Yeah.
So they're doing it the right way. Now, whether that's a product of Nick Nurse and his constant bitching, maybe that has something to do with something.
No, it's the product of Nick Nurse and his constant good coaching.
Well, yeah, he is absolutely out coaching Doc right now. And listen, all the Sixers need to do is have one game. Just focus on one game and get out of the series. You literally, they are banged up. You literally could go to the Miami Heat. They're a little banged up. I'm pretty sure Jimmy and
Jimmy's out next game. He's got some inflammation or something like that.
They're slightly banged up again. So let's get out of this series. Let's go down to Miami. Let's rest up a little bit, get a little healthy, and see what we got for Miami.
That was our opportunity, man.
If we lose, honestly, if we lose on Thursday night, I have zero confidence we win Game 7. Zero.
I can't agree with that. I mean, you're coming home.
I'm saying me personally.
Desperation mode at that point. Like it's anybody's game. But I don't doubt
so
that the
much
Sixers
momentum.
can take it home.
I personally would have zero confidence, and they would literally make history of the first team to ever lose a 7-game series up 3-0.
And that would be a Philadelphia team.
Doc will never coach again if that happens. I'm telling you, never. He will never be given another job.
He'd find another job. But
No, not with his track record. I'm sorry. 1, he's old as hell. 2, he already has 1,000 wins. 3, he has a history of not only blowing huge leads in games, but huge leads in series. What team is going to want that? Boy, man, what? You want to get a job with the Sacramento Kings? Oh, please.
He's got a ring, brother. He's got a ring.
Please. He had very little.
Anything is possible.
Anyway, real quick, I wanted to also mention our official sponsor of the Philly Sports Alliance, La Terrain Watches. I personally just placed yet another order by going to www.la-terrain.com. Ryan, did you ever get your order?
It's on the way.
Oh, it says, yeah. Okay. So I just
some new
got
wheels, bro.
yeah, I just got another watch. It was on sale. It was fantastic, and I used my code PSA at checkout for site-wide discounts. I also got a pretty cool-looking pair of sunglasses as well. I'm telling you, if you want high-quality watches, you don't want to pay Rolex prices, la-terrain.com is where you need to go. Use code PSA, site-wide discounts. That way they know we sent you. Great group of guys over there as well. I constantly am talking to the owners and the CEOs there. Just absolutely amazing. So check them out. Official sponsor for the Philly Sports Alliance.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, they really do have beautiful watches. Gorgeous. I will make an order. I've just been,
lazy.
No, I've allocated my funds in different directions.
Okay.
So, regardless.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and talk about anything else. But
I love busting your chops about it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
And actually, you know what? While I'm on the subject of things that I should be announcing, I also wanted to announce we are officially joining, and we have officially joined, Six Pack Coverage, which is a national media outlet based in Tennessee. please go to sixpackcoverage.com. Not only do they, our shows on there, they have other different shows from around the country. They have a real nice college kind of base for major colleges. They're doing coverage there. But they also do, fitness, finance, entertainment, travel, food, you name it. They got something for it, whether it be a podcast or a show or a blog or articles. It's absolutely fantastic. But you can also check out our shows over there as well. Also, our brother station, CEV Sports, is over there as well. So we are truly doing the Philly takeover for Six Pack Coverage. So check them out, sixpackcoverage.com, where you can check out all of our shows there, but also some other great shows, articles, and information. So we are super happy to be joining up with their network. You can see us on their YouTube and also their Twitter. So check them out and follow and subscribe to them as well. So, all right. We're going to wrap things up here. We talked a lot of draft. We talked a lot of Sixers. Yeah, we could talk a little Phillies, but honestly, what has changed in the week that we've talked? They're still disappointing.
You know what, Reis? What has changed? That's what I want to talk to you about. What has changed?
Nothing.
And I think we're going to see a lot of nothing throughout this entire year.
I mean, you might be right, but also there's a lot of nothing to talk about until it gets to like June, honestly. It's either do you overreact after 17 games and be like, oh no, or do you say, hey, it's April baseball, let it slide. They'll figure it out in May, figure it out in June, and we'll talk at the end of June. And if things are terrible, then things are terrible. Things are swinging back around, great. But guess what? It's a long ass season. People forget that, especially when the season first starts. People forget how long of a season baseball is.
People forget.
I remember. But people are so excited for baseball to be back. They're just like, oh, baseball games, woo! Oh, we lost. No, oh, we suck.
It's not accurate.
I disagree because one, and this is no dig on you, but let's be honest. You're not Mr. Social Media. I, on the other hand, I'm all over social media and see and hear what people are saying constantly every day, after every loss, after every this, after every that. And the sky is falling for a lot of Philadelphia Phillies fans. And listen, people need to relax. RELAX, relax.
No,
it's April baseball.
The thing is, I am Mr. Social Media. I just don't post for our shows and stuff. Like I just watch and
you're
listen.
Such an asshole. You still haven't.
I'm all over social media. You just won't know it.
You still haven't accepted the Philly Sports Alliance to follow you on Twitter.
Yeah,
because God forbid your account's locked. You don't want anybody getting in there.
You don't know. You don't know what's going on.
You and your 9 effing followers. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm just saying. Listen, one of the things that I have come to realize and is becoming a fact is that we have some real talent in our starting pitching, and it's going to get ruined by our defense. And I talked about it last week. I'm not going to harp on it right now, but I'm just telling you that this is going to be an issue because come July, August, we're going to be in important games and important series. And it's going to come down to one run. And even though Bryce and JT and Bohm and all of our great hitters are going to be producing and putting up good numbers. I mean, I can see Bryce because he's a slow starter if you kind of think about it.
Same with Schwarbs.
Yeah, even Schwarber. This is not going to matter when whoever is playing at shortstop has a routine ground ball go through his legs. and that's going to be the difference maker.
I mean, you're most likely right. And I feel like this team is definitely another offseason away from fixing some of the issues that they need to fix.
That's what we said 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like, come on, we're done with this.
All right, well, we have new issues that we got to fix.
I can say right now that if we really want to make a difference, if we really want to impact this team, not you and I, but yeah,
I was going to say
management.
What are we doing there?
If management wants to take a stronghold on this team and make an impact, you're going to have to trade some players. You're going to have to get rid of some future picks. You're going to have to get rid of some money. You're going to have to pay to play, and it's going to have to come this season, because I only see the Mets. Only see the Mets as our competition this year in our division. That's it.
Not the Braves, huh?
No, I only see the Mets.
Okay.
I know Acuna's coming back, and he's freaking stud, and I only see the Mets as our present and future competition.
Okay. All right. Real quick, before we get on out of here, I wanted to announce again, something that we have been talking about here. In fact, oh boy, let me get off of that.
Phillies are up 4-0, by the way.
Nice. I wanted to mention we are going to be live outside of Lenny and Susie's Sports Memorabilia in Pittman, New Jersey on May the 21st.
I grew up down the street from there.
I know. You can come on. You'll see Eric and Ryan and myself. We'll be hanging out, talking some Eagles, talking whatever. But we got some fantastic free giveaways. They'll be auctioning off a signed Wilbert Montgomery t-shirt or jersey to somebody in attendance. This is all set up by our good buddy Seamus, who is the owner of the Philadelphia Underdogs Facebook group. So if you're looking for a good group to kind of talk to some birds, please make sure you go over on Facebook to Philadelphia Underdogs. Check them out. Start chatting it up with them. But come join us out there if you're in the area near Pittman, New Jersey. We will be there from noon until 3, handing out free T-shirts. There'll be some food. There'll be some drinks. And like I said, there will be a signed Wilbert Montgomery jersey to give away. So
very cool. Very cool.
So with that being said, we will see you guys next week. We'll break down the draft. Hopefully we'll be talking about the Miami Heat. And hopefully the Phillies might win a few games between now and then. And we can, probably not. All right, well, that's it for us. Ryan, you got anything before we head on out?
I got my question for you.
Hey-o.
My trivia question.
All right, let's do this.
All right, this is a little bit different, but I think you can get it. What is the diameter of a regulation basketball hoop?
A diameter.
I hopefully don't have to break that down.
Yeah, no. I understand the difference between diameter and radius.
Dead air sucks. Let's go.
Yeah,
man.
it really does. I'm gonna say 12 and a half inches. I don't know.
What?
I have no idea.
What do you think a basketball is, bruh? You can almost fit 2 basketballs into.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. So
almost.
So what? 22 inches?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had no idea.
It's all good. That's why it's
a weird random question, bro.
It's a random question, but it is basketball season. It's playoff time, and it's trivia.
All right, there, bro. L indeed.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Thank you. All right, friends, we are gonna head on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us and hanging out with us. Thank you all to all of you who liked, followed, and share. If you have not already, please head on over to Facebook Twitter, YouTube, give us a Twitch and Instagram, and give us a follow. We are at Philly Sports PSA or just simply Philly Sports Alliance. So we will be back next week to break down the draft, break down the Sixers first round. We're just super excited to be a part of the Six Pack Coverage Network and to be partnering up with Painted Lions and to have La Terrain Watches as our official sponsor. Thanks for everybody who showed up last Saturday to the Berwyn Tavern. We will be continuing to do that and have a great partnership with them. But that's it for us. We're out of here. Thank you so much for listening and enjoying with us. So for the Philly BroCast, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ryan. See you later, Brokich.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I like that. A little MVP bro down.
Not the MVP, but probably going to win.
He will be.
No.
Sorry. All right, y'all. Let's go Birds. Go Sixers.
Go Birds. Go Sixers.